Hello, good morning. Hang on. Oh, this one is still. Is this the third year one?
No.
Oh, sorry. Hang on. So difficult to see which is which. I think this is the one. Correct?
Correct.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome.
All right. So how's everybody? Blessed Christmas, everyone. You can hear me, right?
Yes, can hear you, doctor.
Thank you. So I hope you guys have been, well, doing good at home. Are you at home?
Yeah, I think most of us are.
Okay, good. But as you know, only yesterday is the public holiday, and then we still have our classes, yeah? So today we are going to do the observation. So basically, you know how the observation is done. I really hope that each PBL groups have already downloaded the case study and have already had at least once meeting with your group members, and you do have some question for me. So today is observation, and then next week will be your presentation. Yeah. So yeah, I open for question now. Anyone?
Can I ask if for this PBL, is it still necessary to do model validation?
Model validation. How do you think? How do you think the model validation be?
Actually, I don't. I'm confused about that too. So
The whole thing?
No, because I'm not sure how the model validation would look like.
Yeah. So I ask you, how do you think the formulation would be?
I think the formulation will look like the one that we have in lecture, the interacting population, with the difference equations, and then we use either Python or MATLAB to solve it.
Yep, correct.
And then we'll get a graph or something.
Yep, correct. So what are those graphs? Because when you do validation, you would need to compare your model, which is the graph that you said just now, with actual data, right?
Yeah.
So you need to think, what is your output? And if that output, you are able to find corresponding actual data. So if the output is something that is, you know, very difficult to find, then yeah, you cannot do validation. And you need to say so in your report. Do you get what I mean? Because you as the modeler, you know what your model will provide. The output of your model, what is it? And then you would know how to compare it. All right. So to answer your question, it really depends on you as the modeler. If you are able to get the correct data, then yes, do the validation. But if you cannot, you explain why you cannot. I hope I answered your question.
Oh, so it depends on our output and our findings.
Yes, it really depends on you. Because as you know, in this PBL, the exercise is basically you are able to follow the modeling process. So yeah, if you can follow exactly the whole phases, all the components in the modeling process, then that's good. But if you can't, you explain why you can't do this. Model verification, model validation, you explain why you can't do that.
Okay, thank you, Doctor.
Yep. Any more questions?
Hi, madam. Can you hear me?
Yeah, louder, please.
Okay. So my question is for the simulation, or actually for the graph part, the coding part. Does the graph need to be perfectly, how would I say this? Okay, since for each model, right, the model that my group is using, like prey and predator, right? So if the graph is not like perfect, like the graph, prey and predator graph, is that okay?
Yeah, it's okay.
Okay.
As long as you are able to explain it.
Okay then.
Yeah, and then like how we did in the lecture, when we do the model solution, we did it numerically, right?
Yes,
And
that's
then
correct.
when you do numerically, you need to provide the parameter values, the initial values, right?
Yes.
For it to run, for you to be able to obtain one graph, So when you have that graph, then you will ask yourself, is this graph, will this behavior be the same for every set of parameters, right? That's your question. Will you be able to see the same behavior if you were to change some of the parameters? Will the behavior be the same? That's the main thing. So you will need to change some things. But in order to really explain that, that you will need to do some phase plan analysis.
Yes, that's correct. Yeah. Guess the problem I'm having right now is like, yeah. Thank you, madam.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So that's so far these two questions are very technical, only on the technical. No one asked about the problem itself. What the formulation would look like. Any of you want to ask about that? Or you already know how the equation look like? Because if you are looking at the modeling process, you are starting from the bottom, from validation, and then from simulation. No one is asking from the top. What is? How do you model the formulation? Yeah. Sorry.
Oh yeah. I would like to ask about the relation now.
Okay, louder.
Okay. So my problem is I can see there are 3 levels of prey predators here, but I see that there's one level of like outlaws and bandits. I want to ask, will these two have competitive species inside? Competitive relationship between outlaws and bandits.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah. So it's like a little bit of prey predator and a little bit of competing, right?
Yeah.
Something, yeah. Yeah, you are right. Very good. Very good.
Oh yeah,
So you're
but
saying three levels, right? You said so. Yep. Good.
Yeah.
Yep. Next. Yep.
okay, because in our assumption we don't
Mm.
include like disease and all that, but do we still need to put the limiting carrying capacity growth for this one?
Yeah. I think that is best, because if not, that if you leave it as exponential growth, then not so good. You have already seen this, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, you would need to have some limited growth. So you decide one of maybe just one of them would be a limited growth. Yeah.
Oh, only one. Okay, then it's okay then.
Yeah. You decide which one you think. And then who asked just now about saying that, yeah, there are three. Yeah, that's correct. There are three. Any more?
Can I ask if we can
Yeah.
simplify and modify the classes? Like for ruling class, we simplified it into soldiers, and civilians we into farmers. Is it okay?
So then you say that you only have two?
No, three.
Still three.
Soldiers, farmers, and bandits.
Right. Correct. That's correct.
Oh.
Yep.
Also, we don't necessarily have to use the word ruling class and civilian or farmers.
Ruling class, civilians, and farmers.
I don't know, because in the problem scenario, they said that ruling class and farmers. I was wondering if
Yes.
we can kind of like modify the names of the classes, like into soldiers and civilians, something like that.
Yeah, sure. But as long as, say, I'm giving hints now, as long as you distinguish the three, and there are only
Okay.
three. Yeah. And if you were to have four, I think that's too complicated. So yeah, there should be only three populations. That's the simplest. It's not two. Two is like too simple, too over simple, because you are saying that, oh, I'm just going to look at ruling class and civilian. That's it. But no, there is this another distinct one, which is the bandits. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you, Doctor.
Okay. Any more? Any more? Fourth year already finished. Let me see. I share. Third year, make sure you already take your attendance. Yeah. I'm gonna stop sharing and then share again the fourth year one while you think what to ask me. Any more question? Yeah, so basically today, you take your attendance and then ask me question. That's it. We don't have any, class or whatever. So, yeah, I really hope that you are ready for next week. Yeah. And then after the presentation of your PBL, fully focus on your group project. You know how you did in your tests, both tests. So you really need to do very well in your PBL and your group project. Yeah, so focus properly and make sure you deliver better than before. Okay. Any more question? Yeah, I am.
I want to ask one more like technical-ish question. For the validation, data validation, is it okay if we find data from like non-China countries that are not China?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, just to double check.
Yeah, definitely, because it can be anywhere, but their interaction is similar, kind of thing. So
Okay.
if you are able to get that, it doesn't have to be China.
Okay, thank you, Doctor.
All right. Any more questions? Yep.
For this one, I think for my group lah actually. So the ruling class and the bending class, right? They depend both on they do. How do I say this? So the growth of the bending class depends on the peasant class. Okay, and the ruling class also, they don't depend. In my group case, they don't depend on the peasant class. Is that correct?
The ruling class. The ruling class basically would need to will because the ruling class needs support from both, right?
Yes.
In order for them to rule, in order for the dynasty to continue to be up, they need everyone, including the farmers. So basically they need both the bandits and also the farmers.
For the growth of the ruling class itself.
Yes.
But at the same time, they also suppress everything. Okay then. Okay, thank you, madam.
Yeah. Think about it. Any more? What do you expect okay, there's a question. Okay. Right.
Hi, Dr. Jane.
Yeah.
I wanted to ask, can we do more than 3 variables? But the main 3 variables we have is, of course, the commoners, elites, and bandits. The other one would be like the natural resources of the whole populations that will affect the 3 main population. So can we like model with more than 3 variables?
Main resources.
Natural resources.
So natural resources.
That will be harvested by the commoners.
You mean okay. You are looking at populations.
Mm-hmm.
You see, yeah. So your variables. When you say variables, just now you're talking about the unknowns, right? Your unknowns.
Yes.
So you are looking at the populations. How does natural resource become population?
It's not really like a population, but it's included in the whole model lah.
It's not one of the unknown. It's the parameter. You're talking about the parameters.
it's how do I say this? It's not constant. It's the natural resources is also dynamic. Like it has its own function over it has its own function within time.
Wow.
Mm.
Okay. All right. So, that will be very interesting. I do not know how it will look like, but if you can put that in, that will be something different. Because to be honest, I was like, I think simple, you know. But if you include that in, yeah, just carry on. Just make sure that you are able to explain them.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. Thank you, Ratu J.
Okay. Okay, so I was saying actually, if you were to read the case study, what is it that you are trying to show? What do you think the expected outcome be? The expected graph that you think? Like just now, one of you say that you already obtained a graph and then it doesn't look like the pre-predicted, but yeah, of course it doesn't, but perhaps something. What do you expect from the description of the case study?
For me, I think I expect to see some when the empires rise, the growth of the bandits will be low. Also, at the same time, the growth of the peasants will grow also. But when the empires fall, the bandits will rise. The ruling class will fall, but not completely fall, and the peasant class will be falling also. Something like that.
Yeah. So yeah. So basically, you are expecting some rise and fall, right? So go up and down, and then there goes up and down as well, because that's what happened in, say for example, the dynasty, for example, the China dynasty. Yeah. So it's going up and going down and going up, going down. So this is the expectation. So you would actually expect some oscillation actually. Okay.
Okay, madam.
Yeah. All right. And perhaps will there be some, will you see some saturation? So meaning to say that the civilization will finally reach to an equilibrium. They like, okay, they can manage to reach to the number that everyone is happy. So it's like steady. So you would see some steady state as well. So in your analysis, you will need to include this thing, yeah. So it's showing some steady state and explain it. Okay. Hey, Mom. Kalau tak ada soalan, we don't need to stay too long, ya, in the thing. Any more question?
Doctor, just to like double confirm on how our model, how you expect our models to look like. It's something from like the ones that we did on our slides, right? Nothing too complicated.
Yeah, that's the basic expectation. Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, that's the basic expectation. Yeah.
Okay.
So if you manage to, like the other group, perhaps, I guess, who asked question about the resource just now? I mean, I suspect that perhaps you managed to find some reference that does that. Then yeah, that will be good. But as long as
So
you're
we
able
are
to
okay
manage,
to like expand as long as we can explain it lah.
Yes.
Okay.
Feel free to do that, yeah, because there are many of you in your group. So I'm sure a lot are doing literature review for the group. So some people may find some relevance. So just make sure that you know how to explain the model. Yeah. And in fact, being a modeler, this is what you need to do actually, because don't formulate a model from scratch. You can formulate model from scratch, but it's at the same time review what is already available, and then you make comparison with what you formulated and what others are doing. And when you compare this, that becomes your verification already. Yeah, because you are verifying with something that has already been published. So you make it as close as possible to what you formulated. You know, you compare what you formulate with what has already been published, and then compare it, knowing exactly those parameters that you introduce in your formulation is comparable to the parameters that is established in the paper that you found. Yeah. So this becomes model verification. Validation, of course, is when you found data. That's validation. Data, that actual data, not data generated numerically by another people. Because data that is generated by another researchers, it still become verification, because they obtain that data from their own model. I hope you understand this, what it means by verification and what it means by validation. Validation, compare it with actual data that is collected really on the ground. You know, that is validation. Verification is another group obtain a model. They formulated a model and they generate data. Okay. So okay, this one, say for example, if okay, for this case, it has nothing to do with weather forecast. If you're doing something on weather forecast, and then you are formulating a model, and you compare it with, because there are so many people are doing weather forecast. That weather forecast is actually based on a model that they created. So when you compare with that is still verification, not validation. Validation is when you really have that sensor and really collect data, collect how many rainfall, how many intensity of the sun, and all those things. It's the data is collected by these props, these devices. This is this is what it means by validation and verification. Okay. So there's a lot of people interchange this term, verification and validation, because some people, the understanding is not that correct. But yeah, verification is actually you verify your model with another model that is already established. But validation is really actual data, compare it with your model.
Okay.
Yeah. And yeah, to answer your first question just now, Only if you have the data, then yeah, you can validate. But if you don't have data, then you can't. And it's okay because you don't have time. But you say so in your report. And show to me that you understand what it means by verification validation.
Yeah.
Okay?
Okay.
All right.
Okay. Thank you, Doctor.
Okay. Any more questions?
Doctor, for the model analysis, right? Besides sensitivity analysis and all that, is there anything that we should put there?
Apart from what you are saying, no, actually, because that is quite a lot already, because you are able to really show, because in the case study, we wanted to see the rise and fall, the rise and fall, and like what I mentioned just now, sometimes you will see saturation. All these are analysis.
Oh.
Yeah, so I would actually expect these graphs that first you will see, oh, okay, there's this rise and fall, and then will there be, saturation? So you have another graph that shows that, all those things. And then if you are able to do phase plan, that will be good as well. So that is already a lot.
Okay.
For this exercise. So if you include all those things in your analysis, is already sufficient.
Okay, thank you, Doctor.
Okay. Lagi? Ada lagi ke soalan? Tidak full lah you all datang ambil kedatangan. 30 orang saja dekat 4th year. So I am missing few. Make sure you dapat ambil kedatangan ya. Kalau tak ada, okay. Kalau tak ada soalan sudah, you can go, but make sure take attendance, because I do not want to do manual. Ada yang kalau you cannot do manual, scan, you really need to inform me. Oh man, I baru buka chat ni. Why? Why are you asking for manual? Okay, wait. Ask for manual attendance. Oh gosh, why? Bandit will die out. Bandit will die out. Yeah, basically you do not want these people, right? How do you formulate that? So basically the usual, that they will be affected by natural cause as well as by the ruling class. They will. You don't need it to be logistic, if that's what you are asking. But in order for the bandit to grow in their population, they will need to prey on, right? They will need to prey on the farmers lah. Yeah, farmers. But yeah, the farmers basically. So yeah, you don't need to ensure that they will reach to a some carrying capacity, if that is what you are saying. But I'm not sure whether they will completely die out, basically. Not sure. So yeah, you tell me based on your model. Okay, Patrick, I hope I answered your question. Okay. Right. So if possible, I do not want to do manual, but there are 3 asking. So okay, 3 I can do, but please not more than that. So do you need me to open the other one? Only 30 here, kah? I say, man.
Dr. Jen,
Yep.
I have one last question for my group.
Okay.
So it's okay if we just modified an existing model, right?
Yeah.
Because we find this reference, but this model, they don't have bandits population, so we're
Oh,
planning on just incorporating the bandits.
right. Okay. Yep. Yep.
Okay. All right.
You
Thank you. Thank you.
can amend what you have already found. But that's the thing, so coming back to model verification, because you are comparing your work with another person's work, but you really need to understand those terms that you are comparing, and if there are terms that they have and you don't have, then you need to really explain that how because if you are comparing some terms that you have and terms that they have but you don't have, then it becomes comparing orange with apple. It's like completely different model. How do you want to compare it?
Paham.
That is what I meant, because verification, okay, what does verification do? Verification verifies your coding. It is checking your coding. So you are actually expecting, when you do verification, it should be almost the error should be very, very small for verification, very small. Because you want to make sure that your coding is correct. You know?
Yes.
So you compare like that. So then that is you are checking your coding. Then if you want to compare model comparison, then it is a bit different already. So your analysis is about comparing. Okay, I have this term, but they don't have this term. Then you compare, or then you do expect some differences, obviously, because you're saying that it's completely different model, but slightly, not so much difference, very slight. Apple is still round, and orange is also round. Yeah, so it is a bit different, but it's comparable because they are both round, you know. So you are able to explain it because the terms that you have. So it's all about model, and then that one is model comparison. It's no longer, you have already checked, verify your coding. So and then you do a model comparison. That one is a bit different. Okay. Right. So yeah, I hope all of you understand this, the difference between you're checking your codes, and then after that you do another analysis of, okay, this guy got that term, this guy don't have that term. You compare it, and then you do some analysis, and you do expect some difference, obviously. Yeah, but you are able to explain the differences. Okay.
Okay, thank you, Jen.
Okay. Okay, for group project phase 3. Okay, ini sudah tanya pasal group project apa. Do we need to include models, solving, analyze, results, validation, and verification? No. Phase 3 is model formulation, that's it. Phase 3, yeah, is model formulation. So basically, when is the due? It's already due, right? Forgotten. But basically, it's model formulation. For model formulation, you know, right? It's coming up with your equation, the equations that you are going to solve. So there is actually phase 4. Phase 4 is the final one, is the whole thing. The solving, the analyze, the validation, the verification. That's your phase 4. Phase 3 is just model formulation. Full stop. All right. Okay. So obviously phase 3, you do the model formulation, and then you, after that, you will need to do the rest. That's in the group project. It is again the same thing. We are expecting you to follow closely the modeling process in group project. Sama macam PBL, the same thing. Tapi this time round, the group project, you are looking at your own problem, the problem that you have decided. So it's like, you know, you decide on that problem, that project. So PBL is where I gave you the problem. So it's that's the only difference basically. But group project, you came up with the problem and then you decide. But you follow the same thing, the modeling process, everything. We expect everything. In fact, we expect much more in the group project because you will be doing more analysis and all those things. Yeah. We are hoping basically that you will do more in the phase 4, if you want to call that as phase 4. All right, Anderson, thank you. Any more? Kalau tidak ada soalan lagi, you may go if you have already taken your attendance. Yeah, you may go if you have already taken your attendance. If you have not taken your attendance, please make sure you do. All right. So I'm sharing again. Now it's the 3rd year, in case you didn't get to take your attendance just now. All right, so yep. So yeah, people are start leaving already. Thank you everyone. If you don't have any more question and you have already taken your attendance, you may go. Happy holidays. So if you still want to carry on with holiday, but I think I advise you to make sure that you study. Yeah, your exam is coming. Take care. Happy New Year. See you for PBL presentation.
Thank you, madam. Happy
Thank you,
holidays too.
Doctor. Happy
Thank
holidays.
you. Oh, yeah, thank you. Yes, I am on holiday. Thank you, Joanna. Merry Christmas to you too. I'm having my holiday. I'm in KK. Thank you. Merry Christmas to you as well, Elsie. All right. Thank you, Clarence. Okay. Bye, everyone. Take care. Stay safe.